I can let this Peter Bello brewery. Thousands of people all brewery highest taxpayer in Anambra State. It was there, it compares there with the ever form. Ever step about the it was there, compares there, ever one day ago. Never.
That was Peter Obi, the former governor of Anambra State and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, speaking at the campaign of the Labour Party governorship candidate in Anambra State, Dr. George Moghalu. In that campaign where he was speaking in Igbo language, he was saying that they said that the only investment he had in Anambra State was SABMiller Breweries. And he reminded the audience, the crowd, that that same SABMiller Breweries, which the government of Anambra State dismissed as nothing, is the highest taxpayer in Anambra State, and that it has generated thousands of jobs for people of Anambra State origin who are living in Anambra State, because SABMiller Breweries is located in Onitsha, the commercial heartland of Anambra State and the Southeast in general. It was because of that assertion by Peter Obi about SABMiller's contribution to the development of Anambra State as a major taxpayer that the government of Professor Chukwuma Soludo has went on overdrive to prove that Peter Obi was lying. But that attempt to refute Peter Obi's long-standing position that the SABMiller Breweries is the highest earner in terms of taxes to the Anambra State Government is disproved. That attempt by Soludo to disprove Peter Obi that SABMiller Breweries is the highest taxpayer in Anambra State has backfired on the government of Soludo, because people could read through the lines and they have the reaction trailing that submission has shown that the government of Anambra State under the leadership of Professor Soludo has failed in the attempt to disprove Peter Obi that SABMiller Breweries is the highest taxpayer in Anambra State. Now, the state government of Anambra State, through the Internal Revenue Services, has released a document showing its highest taxpayers to establish a stance that Peter Obi's claim is not true. According to the document, SABMiller Breweries fell behind 5 Nigerian banks as the 6th top taxpayer in the state, with a total of 665,558,123 million naira. That's 656,558,123 naira. This was quoted by the Anambra State Government as part of the payment of tax by SABMiller. This in form of pay as you earn or payee and withholding tax, WHT. Now, according to the Anambra State Government, the top taxpayers were identified as First Bank, Zenith Bank, United Bank for Africa, and Access Bank, excluding federal institutions which the state government said contribute hugely to the state's IGR or internally generated revenue. The statement by the statement from the Anambra State Revenue Service read in part: a double check on the last 2 years. A double check on the last 2 years data. See table below on the tax collection across corporate bodies, including SABMiller, but excluding federal institutions, which contribute hugely to the state's internally generated revenue, especially the pay-as-you-earn, payee taxes, show the position of the top 6 taxpayers in the state. Interestingly, SABMiller Company comes a distant 6th position behind Fidelity Bank PLC with a gross tax payment of 656.5 million in 2 years, 2023 and 2024. In this sense, the claim can be dismissed with a wave of the hand, as the company in question contributed on average 28 million naira per month in 2023 and 26.26 million per month in 2024. The above clarification became necessary to properly situate the claims made by the former governor and to give undiluted information for the members of the public to note. Additionally, there is the need to provide answers to certain public inquiries, either to prove or disprove the claims as published in the media. End of quote. That's an excerpt from the statement by the Anambra State Government led by Professor Chukwuma Soludo to disprove Peter Obi that SABMiller is the highest paying tax entity in Anambra State. And of course, you and I know that Peter Obi had previously claimed that SABMiller Breweries in Onitsha remains the state's single largest source of revenue and a major contributor to local employment. It was commissioned in August 30th, 2012. The Anambra State Government, under Peter Obi's administration, invested approximately 2 billion naira, or about $12.6 million, for a 10% equity stake in the project, an investment that Peter Obi defended as strategic and socially impactful. Now, there had been a backlash to Soludo because what he intended to demolish Peter Obi's claim has ended up proving that Peter Obi indeed was right about his position that it is that SABMiller is the highest taxpayer in the state. Because if you look at the banks that that Soludo was putting forward, that they contribute more to the IGR, these were not banks that were attracted to the state. by any governor. These banks will always be there in Anambra State, whoever is governor. But if you look at it, what has happened now has confirmed this information from Soludo, which he intended to use to demolish or demarcate Peter Obi, has indeed proven that Peter Obi was right. Because if you look at the figures that came out, you will discover that indeed SABMiller is the highest earner in Anambra State, is the highest earner in Anambra State in terms of tax revenue compared to those banks, because those banks are not indigenous to Anambra State. Instead of Soludo's statement proving Peter Obi wrong, the document didn't contradict what Peter Obi had been saying all this while. Aside from banks, SABMiller is the highest revenue earner or taxpayer in Anambra State. Peter Obi is therefore right, after all, to say that SABMiller is the highest taxpayer in Anambra State. Because if you look at this, that's the investment by the state government under Peter Obi. This is not like the banks investing anything in Anambra. These banks are everywhere in Nigeria. Okay, but SABMiller is not everywhere in Nigeria. So we are talking about his contribution to the revenue earning of Anambra State. So instead of Soludo disproving Peter Obi, what he has shown, the data from Anambra State Internal Revenue Service has indeed confirmed that Peter Obi had been right, that SABMiller is the highest taxpayer in Anambra State. Remember also that Soludo once said that the investment is next to nothing. Don't forget that. Soludo once described SABMiller Breweries as next to nothing. The investment in SABMiller as next to nothing. But now he's admitting, his government is admitting that he's paying on the average 28 million naira monthly as tax. So how can a professor of economics dismiss something that returns, contribute to the Anambra State Government tax revenue 28 million naira every month? How can he, in all honesty, dismiss it as nothing? Something that brings in 28 million naira every month. And we're not talking about the thousands of people who are employed by this organization. We are not talking about the multiplier effect in terms of the thousands of suppliers who supply part of the materials and other accessories needed to make that organization functional. Yet, Professor Soludo dismissed it that the investment is next to nothing. Yet, thank God, by his own mouth, with his own statement, he has confirmed that this particular organization returns 28 million naira on a monthly basis. And you may also ask, how many governors in Nigeria left such investments in their state that are still yielding dividends of democracy to the people of Anambra State and contributing to the economic development of not just Anambra State, but Nigeria as a whole? Okay? Because by the time you look at, even if you look at the ownership, the ownership structures of those banks, these banks that are stationed, the First Bank, which is number one, Zenith Bank, UBA, Access Bank, Fidelity, all these banks, they are all banks that are headquartered in Lagos, and they are all over Nigeria. You don't need to do much, but we know from the account of Peter Obi what he passed through to be able to have these brewery established in Anambra State. And that brewery has continued to have multiplier effect on the economy of Anambra State. So while Soludo was out to demarket P2B, he ended up demarketing himself. He ended up proving that indeed it is true that SABMiller, brought to Anambra State by P2B, is the highest indigenous taxpayer in Anambra State. There is no debate about it. Soludo has just shot himself on the foot in his desperate attempt to demarcate Peter Obi using every opportunity. I don't know what you think about Soludo's effort to prove Peter Obi wrong, which has now shown that indeed Peter Obi was right. And Soludo was a big liar when he said that SABMiller Brewery investment is next to nothing. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video, and if you are new to my channel and have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.